Hi everyone, welcome back to Grow Roots. This is Shannon and welcome to my June 2024 backyard garden tour. For those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for watching. I am a home gardening channel here in North Texas in Zone 8A on the border of Zone 8B, and I post monthly garden tours of my front yard and my backyard for you to enjoy, and also some other my favorite plant videos and garden maintenance and things like that. So please hit that subscribe button so you can learn more about my channel. Thank you so much for joining. So here we are in June of 2024 and it is starting to get hot. So the last couple days have been in the 90s. The heat indexes have gotten to 100, 103. It has been pretty hot. Here we are in the evening hours. So my backyard is now under the shade of this beautiful forest area that we have behind our house. This is a borrowed view, but it is spectacular. And anyway, it shades our garden in the evening, which is really, really great. So let me start at this corner of our garden. This is where I usually start with my backyard garden tours, and this is Mr. Goodbud sedum. Mr. Goodbud sedum has gotten a lot more water than it likes to have. Sedum can be very drought tolerant, but we have had so much rain, y'all. I'm gonna put a photo on the screen of our latest rainfall totals, thanks to Pete Delkus of WFAA. He likes to keep us updated on all of that, but we are like 10, 11, maybe 12 inches over what we usually are this time of year. And he calculated that there have even been 39 years in recording Texas history that we haven't even gotten this much rain in an entire year, and we're just barely in June. We've had 5 full months. So oh my goodness gracious, we have had so much rain. But you know what, I am thankful for every drop of rain we do get. There are times where already we are praying for rain, needing the rain, and the plants do usually love it, but Mr. Goodbud hasn't loved it. The other thing Mr. Goodbud hasn't loved is grasshoppers. So we have so many, and I just saw one fly off. We have so many grasshoppers this year, and I have been trying to catch them, kill them, spray them with insecticidal soap. You name it, I have tried it. The other thing I can say is that there's a lot of frogs since it's been so wet, and the frogs are trying to catch them. I saw one this afternoon trying to catch a grasshopper that I was trying to catch. We were both like, ooh. But anyway, it's just for whatever reason, grasshoppers seem to like to eat the Mr. Goodbud. So anyway, love it. It's not in its bloom time quite yet, but I think in late summer it should set some buds, and we should be enjoying a beautiful pink. Here, let me show you. This is what it will look like in the fall. It will be absolutely beautiful. Late summer, early fall, mid-fall-ish. So there's that. I also have a row of dwarf Mexican petunia, or Ruellia, and it is the pink variety. And again, it is not in its bloom season quite yet, but it will be somewhat soon. There's some grass in there. It's doing really, really well, and I'm noticing this plant in particular has quadrupled. I could probably go in and divide this plant in the fall, which I do think I'm going to do. And there's a couple other ones that are doing really, really well. So excited to see those blooms. They're really pretty little pink blooms. And over here, I have my candy corn spirea. Truthfully, I think it has also gotten a little more water than it likes, and it's showing me I probably need to go in and add some iron, liquid chelated iron, to treat this plant, because it's got a little bit of chlorosis. The iron is being, the nutrients are being kind of drained out because of all the moisture, but it is still absolutely stunning, and it's putting on new growth for me. So there you go. The new growth is red, and it's so beautiful. Oh, just love this shrub. It stays nice and compact, 2 to 3 feet tall and wide, mounding habit. Really, really, really pretty shrub. So let's get this view. Wow. The view. Ooh, wow. Look at this. Oh, goodness. I'm so thrilled with both my front and backyard gardens this year. And I've really tried, and I think I've accomplished, to fill in all of this. A lot of this was empty space. It is a fairly new garden bed since 2020, and I've tried really hard to fill in with perennials last year when they were all on clearance in the fall. And I also divided some of my own perennials, things like this. So this one is actually Echinacea purpurea, just absolutely beautiful. They do so well here in North Texas, and they are just the most beautiful blooms. This one just appears to be glowing with that orange color right there in the center and the pink petals. This was one that I divided from a different area and put it here, and this is, you know, it's first season in this location, and it's doing really, really, really well. Okay, coming along next to the Echinacea purpurea, I have a little lime hydrangea, and it is budding up, getting ready to just be absolutely spectacular. As you can see, all of those blooms are a lime green color now, but they will turn white. And yes, again, I do realize it is getting eaten up. Maybe grasshoppers, maybe, I don't know, there's some like leaf spot there, but it's gonna be just fine. It's still performing great, putting on new growth and budding up for me. So it's doing quite well. Okay, so down here, oh, there's Chloe. She always joins me for my backyard garden tours. She is our garden cat that chose us. She was a stray that just started hanging out, and we started feeding her and loving on her, and she stays back here. Okay. This beautiful blue bloom that you see down here is a ground cover called Plumbago ceratostigma. It is a hardy plumbago, so it survives. It is a perennial and definitely deciduous. Loses its leaves in the wintertime, but then comes back and gives you these amazing blue blooms. Oh my goodness. Well, this Plumbago ceratostigma is kind of swallowed up because I have also morning glory that's growing up a shepherd's hook. Ooh, that's a beautiful view too. Seems like the trees are glowing in the background. It's such a beautiful time of night. But this is morning glory, and it is a native morning glory. It has a pink flower. It's not currently flowering, although there are some buds right there, if you can see that. It's going crazy. This is a wild morning glory that I thought, well, I'm calling this year the year of the vine. And I'll show you why in just a moment, but I may as well allow a wild morning glory to survive, and then I may regret it later because it may get too crazy. But for now, I am able to kind of contain it on this shepherd's hook. It is starting to pop up, like shoot out and pop up throughout my garden here, but I just pick it out and it's no big deal. It doesn't seem to be super invasive right now. We will see as the season progresses. On the shepherd hook, I do have this hanging planter of Proven Winners Supertunias. I was able to find these silverberry Supertunias and also the Supertunia, let's see, is this the fuchsia? Yes, so Supertunia Vista Fuchsia is right there, stunning color, and then Supertunia Vista Silverberry. And I actually cut these hard when I planted them, cut them back really, really hard, and that was only about 2 weeks ago. And you can see they are just going crazy right now. So really beautiful. I love it. All right, so coming back to the garden, I have some Sweet William that this is its second bloom cycle, so it's just not super impressive. The first bloom cycle was amazing. I did do a video about that, about Sweet William, and I didn't realize how magnificent of a flower it is in mid-spring for us. So please watch that video if you're interested in seeing that. This is kind of just the remnants of it, but I also have little seedlings, Sweet William seedlings coming up everywhere because it reseeds itself really, really easily as well. I also did a video on harvesting Sweet William seeds, super easy, so watch that if you're interested there too. Right over here, I have white swan echinacea. I am not sure why. Echinacea purpurea was very easy for me to start from seed. However, white swan echinacea has not been very easy for me to start from seed. The first year, I completely failed. All of my seedlings, none of them germinated. But I found out it was because I used a heat pad, contacted the company. They were like, no, they actually need like that, the cold before they can germinate. Heat is not going to make them germinate. And so I did that wrong. That was my bad. So the second season, I did what I was told, and I refrigerated them and then tried to plant them. And then only one seedling survived last year. And this is it. It did not flower for me last year. And so this is the very first white swan echinacea bloom. And it's already kind of spent a little bit. I think the plant is just, you know, it's just a baby, so it's doing its best, but it's really, really beautiful. And it was a very hot day today, so you are going to see it's still kind of like the plants are like, whoa, what just happened? This is really, really, really hot. 95 today, I think, maybe, but it's a little limp. That's okay. I have coreopsis here. And really quick about coreopsis, I absolutely love it for the pop of color and the texture interest that it adds to the garden. But because we've had such a rainy season, it's really quite floppy for me. See, this is this whole stem that has flopped over here. I have another kind of floppy stem there. I think it's because of the season we've had, and maybe because this one isn't like super strong and established yet. I just planted it last fall, so maybe that's why too. But one thing I did learn too is that when you deadhead these, and if you don't cut it, if you try to pull, these actual stems from the very base easily pull off. So I've already pulled off a couple of them, 3 of them actually, and I've actually stuck them back in the ground, and 2 of them are, I'll show you where they are. They're growing roots and becoming new coreopsis plants. So something interesting about coreopsis, it easily re-roots itself if the stems break. Yeah, let's move back in over here. I will come to my containers later. Here I have another Supertunia. This one is Supertunia Bermuda Beach, and it's looking a lot like Supertunia bubblegum to me. It's not quite that corally color that I expect from Supertunia Bermuda Beach. I don't know what's going on. Again, maybe it's the amount of rain. I don't know, but anyway, I am enjoying it. It's doing quite well. And then over here I have another Supertunia fuchsia, which, wow, I have right here is another Plumbago ceratostigma. And I'm gonna try to get through here, but I have a blue agave that might poke me. Okay, so there is the Plumbago ceratostigma, another one of them, and you can just see those amazing blue blooms next to the Supertunia that actually is almost eaten. Those colors look so great together. I love, love, love it. And then you can see some more of those blue blooms from the Plumbago there. I have a Cinderella peach zinnia that I grew from seed from Park Seeds, and so that's my first bloom. It's just now coming into bloom, and that's what I think all of these zinnia seedlings are. They might be a mixture of other zinnia seedlings, but I think those are my Cinderella peach. I think I put them all there. I don't know. It's all kind of fuzzy that day that I planted all my seedlings in the garden, or all of my seeds after the last frost. So it's a little fuzzy, and we'll find out once they start blooming, I suppose. And then here is another one of my Sweet William plants. Again, this is its second flush of blooms after I deadheaded it, and it's still looking great. So I'm excited to see that it does reflush when you deadhead them. So that's super, super fun. What I also wanted to call attention to is my fence. Woo, okay, so I call it the year of the vine. I absolutely love vines, and my vision for this garden from the very, very beginning was to have vines all along this fence. And it hasn't really worked out because the first thing that I did was I bought Confederate Star Jasmine to go there. And long story short, Confederate Star Jasmine here in North Texas, the vine itself dies off every single winter and it starts new from the ground. And so it doesn't grow vigorously enough to cover this fence in one growing season. It just doesn't happen. So this year I decided I'm really going to make this happen with some annual vines. And so what you've got right here is actually a blue pickety morning glory. And I do have pictures of it. It has bloomed for me, and there is one bloom right over there, but it's already closed because it's evening time for the time that I'm filming. But they are beautiful, beautiful blooms. So there's a morning glory, blue pickety. There's Confederate Star Jasmine because that's where that one was planted, and it's regrowing itself. What you see right here is actually a black-eyed Susan vine, and that one has not flowered for me yet. The one that I have in my front garden has flowered, and it's gorgeous, and I'll show you a picture, but that's what that is. And then if you see this thing that has leaves of 3, which kind of freaks me out because I'm already on poison ivy watch, but it is not poison ivy, it is purple hyacinth bean vine. So there's a good picture of that, and that is growing all the way up there, if you can see. So yeah, and then there's another vine there, and to be honest, that one is what do we want to call that? Not an imposter, a volunteer, let's say. It's Carolina snail seed, and there's really mixed of reviews of Carolina snail seed in the North Texas community. It is a native vine in North Texas, and it has beautiful red berries in the fall, and I had some last year and I actually really enjoyed them. It's like a really cool like red color, and I didn't find them to be incredibly invasive. They are trying to come into my garden a bit. I pull them, they go away. So I'm letting that actually fill in there, and I rather enjoy it. Some people do not. Some people think it is the bane of their existence because it's very invasive. For me, it's not. It just isn't. I have more purple hyacinth bean vine there, and that one is growing so fast that I'm actually training it to go sideways kind of in that dead space. So purple hyacinth bean vine. I have another Echinacea purpurea over there. And then again, we have, well, oh yeah, this vine is imposter. I will call it imposter because it has insane thorns everywhere. Awful, awful, awful thorns. It's called something briar. I forget the name of it right now, but that's not a good one. I do need to get that out of there. And let's see, some more Carolina snail seed and some more jasmine, Confederate Star Jasmine there. I passed over my peony. This guy, oh, this poor guy. Oh, it's either, is it Carl Rosenfeld or Sarah Bernhardt? I always get my 2 peonies mixed up. This one is planted more in a full sun location. In the beginning of spring, I actually thought I lost it last year. It burned, it fried, and I thought I had lost it. But it came back this year, and it tripled in size. This is only its 2nd growing year. It's not going to flower for me yet, but you can see it actually is kind of struggling now that we're getting pretty hot, and I'm going to need to figure out some kind of shade cover for it to kind of help it along the rest of the season. But so far, it's actually doing better than I thought. I didn't even think I was going to have it this year, so I'm thankful. Echinacea purpurea, I talked about that. Now here is something that's new. So this is kind of a weird part of my garden because my patio goes to right here, and then my fence is right there. It's kind of shade down here, doesn't get watered all that well with the irrigation, and then everything up here is full sun. So this year is clematis year for me. I have a clematis down here that was a bare root clematis. It's either H.F. Young or Jack Monty. And then I have a clematis that's over there that's either H.F. Young or Jack Monty as well. Also down there is Pink Chablis Lamium by Proven Winners, and I have another one right here. And let me tell you, they have doubled at least, maybe even tripled in size since I bought them. And I bought them really seriously, like maybe 5 weeks ago at Callaway's. They had a 30% off sale for this type of ground cover, and I picked that up. Oh my goodness, I love it. It's doing so well. I really have had a hard time getting things to grow down here, and I'm so happy that the pink Shibboleth lamium seem to love it down there. There's also a zinnia. I think that zinnia seedling or seed must have fallen. I don't think I planted it. There's a purple hyacinth bean vine that's struggling slightly there, and then a volunteer milkweed right there. And then of course some more of that briar vine that I really dislike. But and then this is another type of clematis that I picked up at the same time as the lamium, and it is sapphire indigo clematis. So yeah, look, there's another one of those grasshoppers. He's eating this one too. I don't like you, buddy. I don't like you. Okay. But this clematis, yeah, it was flowering for me. These are the spent blooms right there, but not flowering currently. And I can see it's kind of wilted from the afternoon heat. Probably not completely established yet, so I totally get it. I might need to give it a little drink of water. But yeah, so that's what's down here. Right over here, I have my Texas sage, a really great heat-tolerant, drought-tolerant plant for Texas, and kind of fun because they call it a barometer plant because it will bloom when it's supposed to rain. This particular Texas sage, or my Texas sage, they don't bloom the way that other people's Texas sage do. I even tried, I pruned it, which I've never done before, and I am noticing it's the ones that I've pruned back that seem to be flowering, so maybe that's the trick. I gotta really cut it back next year maybe, but it's beautiful. I love that silvery green foliage, absolutely stunning. Okay, so before I go down into the garden that's over there, I'm going to show you this massive sunshine ligustrum. Oh my goodness. It's so beautiful. I just love this plant. It does need to be pruned. It's getting really weighed down with all the water we're getting, and it did split open in the sense that I came out yesterday after a really big storm, and it was like everything, all of the branches were weighed down, and it had, it was like something had fallen right on top of it. But no, it was just weighed down with water. And so I have tree formed this one. Let's see if I can get in there and you can see it. Oh my goodness. Before I show you, let me show you this Mystic Spires Blue Salvia. I got this on clearance last year. This is turning out to be way shadier than I thought it was going to be, but Mystic Spires Blue Salvia actually can take some shade, and it just has the most stunning blooms. This just happened today, actually. It's taken a while for this guy to get going, but now that it is, it's really doing well. So that's going to be a beautiful pop of color there. I have another purple hyacinth bean vine, and actually this Carolina snail seed is already starting to set its flowers and berries. Look at that. I actually quite like it, y'all. I don't know. You can be a hater, but I'm not a hater of Carolina snail seed. I kind of like it. And there's a lot of it right there mixed with the Confederate Star Jasmine. So I'm going to go under here and show you what's down here. Another Sweet William. This one grown in the shade, so it's not nearly as big of a plant or bloom producer as the other ones in full sun. And then down here, let's just, okay. We are now in the understory of the Sunshine Ligustrum. So I tree formed it last year. I'm so glad that I did. And planted ajuga, burgundy glow ajuga, all underneath. Oh, look at those lovely mushrooms. So yeah, the burgundy glow ajuga is absolutely beautiful. I absolutely love it. And it's doing pretty well under there. Another Sweet William is located over there, and another Texas sage growing there. And the rest of this garden tour is going to just be like a jungle. I do apologize. may have planted things too close together. Look what we're about to get into. And I need to stake up some Echinacea purpurea because with the rain, they have just completely fallen over. So let's go take a look. Okay, so here we are. We actually have a butterfly right there, hi buddy, on some milkweed. So this plant right here is swamp milkweed, and I've had it for quite a few years. Grew it from seed in 2020, and so, but unfortunately the monarchs have not discovered it, and so we don't have any monarch caterpillars. Over here is kind of what I'm a little bit worried about over here. I saw movement last time I was back here, and I wasn't wearing boots, and I'm pretty sure a snake was back here. And so I've got my rain boots on doing this tour, and I'm being very, very cautious, looking for any type of movement throughout the ground because they will move away when they hear me. But what you're seeing is this Echinacea. Oh my goodness. Echinacea purpurea. Wow, look at that. Woo! It's so pretty, but it's all fallen over, and actually the blooms are all tangled. Oh, but maybe that was the problem. Oh, see there, that butterfly is not happy with me. She's like, please stop. Okay, so yes, I need to go in here and just stake all of this up. It's so fallen over, but I've never seen Echinacea so tall. So it's almost as tall as I am, and I am 5 feet tall. I'm very, very short. So it's not saying all that much, but that this Echinacea is almost as tall as I am. Here next to this crazy Echinacea, I have a limelight hydrangea. And again, this spot has become way shadier than I anticipated because the sunshine ligustrum is getting crazy. But, and that is why I don't think I have any blooms on this guy, but it's still going, it's still surviving. And is that what I think it is, y'all? Yeah, no, yes, no, maybe so. I was thinking it was a pupa, or not a pupa, but a chrysalis. Or is it a leaf? I really don't know, y'all. I kind of think it's a chrysalis because sometimes they're, you know, the shapes of leaves. I think that's what that is. All right, moving on from the limelight hydrangea, which is down there, Echinacea purpurea, which is desperately needing to be staked. I have some canna lilies that are just absolutely beautiful right now. They are yellow with just this red center, just absolutely stunning, and they just keep kind of reblooming. Well, maybe not this one, but this one, as you can see, like the blooms die, it just keeps growing taller, and it's just a really, really sweet view from right here for sure. Let me see if I can get through this collapsed Echinacea. Sorry, y'all. And it's prickly too. I'm not loving the feel of the Echinacea. I do have a pink muhly grass right here. The Echinacea purpurea just is kind of taking over. But yeah, I mean, that's doing okay. And then this, oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, look at that. That's insane. This is a coral honeysuckle, and I picked it up. It was a very small plant in fall. I picked it up on clearance and planted it there, and it was so itty bitty, and you can see where it was staked, like right there. And then now it's taking over. Oh my, look, even this like outshoot, which this is a good 10 feet away from the mother plant, but this offshoot right here, I mean, it's got shoots coming off of the shoots, and yeah, we're just kind of letting it come along, and the Carolina snail seed is meeting up with it. It's just all good. It's crazy. This is just so crazy. Oh, it's coming in. Okay, yeah. So coral honeysuckle, just so that y'all know, it's not the invasive species. It isn't. Coral honeysuckle is the native species here. Oh yeah, so let's do this. Hang on. While I'm back here, which I haven't been in a really long time, I'm going to try to tame this real quick. and kind of get it in. Okay, because it was trying to take over the Echinacea purpurea. So getting through. Coral honeysuckle is the native version of honeysuckle, not the Japanese honeysuckle that is known to be very invasive, but I will say it is a very vigorous grower. It is taking over. It is taking over back here, but it is the year of the vine, and I did need something to kind of happen back here. So I'm pretty thankful for it, actually. All right, so coming back around, let's see. Okay, I have Plumbago serratus stigma down here. Again, hardy plumbago ground cover with the most beautiful blue blooms. And look at this lovely, she actually looked a little bit better a couple days ago, but she's going to continue to flower for me. But here's my hand, here's the bloom. This is Midnight Marvel Hibiscus. This is a hardy hibiscus, just super beautiful. Lots of blooms coming, as you can see. Let's see this one. Oh, just so pretty. Some of these are a little bit older, like those two blooms are spent. There's a bloom that's spent over there, but just absolutely beautiful plant for this corner of the garden. And I'm glad I'm back here too, because I've been looking at this. It's trying to, the coral honeysuckle is kind of trying to come in and take over, and I need to kind of fix it back on this like inexpensive trellis that I got at Walmart for $5. One last look, and there's a lot of mosquitoes back here too. I have bug spray on, but they are trying to attack me. Oh yes, I cannot leave this area without showing you. I also had a vision for vines going up this beautiful archway that we have, and I didn't want a vine like coral honeysuckle, which is a perennial vine, on there because it is also a water feature. The water feature is currently not working, but it will be fixed at some point. And so I chose an annual vine to try and go up here. And again, it is the purple hyacinth bean vine. And so actually, I'm glad I found this. They are growing up. They needed a little bit of a trellis back here, but once I have them, I'm trying to get them to go to the front. I have a little bit of wire up there that they're gonna grow up, and so I'll see them from the front, from the patio up. That'll be my view. So yeah, the purple hyacinth bean vine is actually doing really well. And I have another one over there, and it's, yeah, it has a shoot that's going out the front too. So it's taking off. It's a little bit slower than this one is, but it's really, really pretty. I just love it back here. And honestly, last year I could just walk straight through. There was room, but this year I cannot. I have to go back through the garden to show you what's back there, but hold tight. Okay, so I have come up from the garden. This is where I have all of my containers, and actually there's one missing, but I have some other containers over there, some containers there, and then I also have some containers here. Here's the thing, my garden videos are getting longer and longer and longer the more plants that I add to the garden. So I'm gonna give you a quick view of my containers, but this time I actually think I'm gonna do my container tour separately from my actual backyard garden tour. So here's a quick view. I highly encourage you guys to watch it. I will film it and put it out in the next few days or week or so, but just a quick look. Here we go, and that's going to be it for the most part. But I want to show you, well, I am going to come back this way because this is part of the garden, and these are my 4 trellises, and Tangerine Beauty crossvine is planted on them. So they bloomed this amazing, spectacular bloom for me in, what was that, early spring? Yes, it was so beautiful, y'all, and I made a video on that as well, so I encourage you guys to watch it. But it's kind of out of bloom at the moment, but it has been sporadically blooming for me. It just so happens that I don't think there are any current new blooms to show you at the moment, but it is a beautiful vine. It is evergreen here in North Texas, super heat tolerant, drought tolerant once it's established. It's just the most amazing vine ever. I highly recommend it. But then I want to show you my side garden. This is a brand new garden for me, for the most part. This part to a certain level is 2 years old. I created this garden 2 years ago because really all that was growing back here was super tall grass and weeds. That's it. And I really wanted to do something about that, and I'm so glad I did. It's so beautiful, and it's kind of interesting. There are different microclimates going on back here. So this area up until like right there is part sun, I would call it. It gets about 4 hours of sun, so part shade, part sun, and it gets that in about the early-ish morning to, you know, very early late afternoon, or very early afternoon hours is when it gets its sun. So I do have some plants back here that, you know, can take that. One of them is a peony right there. This peony actually does much better and is much bigger than my other peony, and it's because it does much better in this like part shade, part sun environment. I have a carex right here, which is so beautiful. I love the texture of this plant. I have my canna lilies here. I have a boxwood, which I think I'm going to relocate. I just doesn't, like, there's stuff growing all around it. I can't, these canna lilies keep coming up everywhere. I meant to pull these. They're not supposed to be there. They're supposed to be here. But alas, I haven't done that, and it's about to flower. So I thought, well, let's just do it. Over here, this is so fun. These are, again, some fall perennials that I picked up. Actually, no, one of them I picked up really, really early spring, and then another one was, okay, let me show you. This one, and they're kind of growing into each other. That's so funny. How is that? Yeah, okay, there you go. So this is pink skullcap, and it's kind of on the smaller side, but it is starting to bloom, and this was, again, planted last fall. It's a Texas native, and they're kind of growing into each other. That's so funny. How is that? Yeah, okay, there you go. So this is pink skullcap, and it's kind of on the smaller side, but it is starting to bloom, and this was, again, planted last fall. It's a Texas native, super hardy plant, really, really Texas tough, and that's why I picked it up. This plant is Greg's mist flower, and it's kind of just, you know, going all into the pink skullcap. It's trying to make friends, but it's so beautiful. I just love these blooms. They're like these beautiful pastel purple color, and it started blooming several months ago, and it's just continued. Not several months ago, it started blooming probably in mid-spring, and it's still blooming here, and I think it'll bloom until fall. In the fall time, it will just hopefully be covered with queen butterflies. There is a symbiotic relationship between the queen butterflies and the, ooh, do you hear that? Helicopter. Wow. Okay, helicopter just flew right over. Sorry about that. Okay, but there's a symbiotic relationship between the queen butterfly and the Greg's mist flower that I really want to talk about, but I'm going to do it in an upcoming video, and I'm really hoping that this is covered with queen butterflies in the fall. This beautiful purple backdrop is, wow, that's so beautiful in the evening. Oh, so pretty. Okay, purple heart Tradescantia. I got clippings from my mother-in-law 2 years, well, yeah, last year, actually. Last year was its first growing season. This is its second growing season. I'm also taking cuttings from them and kind of putting them all down the way. So this is kind of going to be the border of the side garden for sure. It's just, you know, a work in progress. And then coming along, I have a daylily. Oh man, okay. So none of them are actually in their bloom right now, but I have lots of new ones coming. It is a beautiful peach corally color, and it's stunning, and I've been able to divide this several times and plant them elsewhere in my front and in this garden, so I just love it. I have amaryllis growing back here, and yes, it survives the winter time. It is a red rapido amaryllis. And then over here, beautiful rose mallow plant. This was just like your generic rose mallow labeled plant. I figured out the name of it. Oh, look at this. I figured out the name, but the name escapes me. I'll try and pop it on the screen for you. But one thing, I tell you what, the grasshoppers really prefer the hibiscus and rose mallow. I tell you what, oh, it's all skeletonized and everything, but it's still putting on tons of blooms. I mean, let's see. Yep, see, this is how I know it's grasshoppers, y'all. Oh, I hate them. Ugh, go. Oh, I actually got that one, y'all. I was able to stump it. Okay, maybe. I tried to kill one yesterday and it was really difficult to kill. Okay, so right down here, that ground cover you see is variegated Vinca major. And here starts my hedge of endless summer hydrangeas that I have back here. So I've had a little bit of an issue with these hydrangeas with chlorosis, but I've really tried to hit them hard with chelated iron this year, and I actually think it's doing quite well. Look at that, look at those blooms, pretty pink. That one's a little bit on the older side, and this is a plant that seemed to struggle really hard last year, but it's coming back beautifully. So treating it with soil acidifier and then also chelated iron has really helped. I was even able to achieve like a purple color with this hydrangea. I apologize. I think you guys can hear my my HVAC running in the background. I just don't think there's any way around it. It's 95 degrees out. My air conditioner is going to be running, so I do apologize. But look how many blooms are on this plant this year. This is definitely the most it's ever had. This is, again, it's just 2 years old, but so stunning. I love hydrangeas. They are my favorite plant. I do have a video about them, so please check that out. I have planted some annual begonias all dotted throughout the back here because they do well in sun or shade. And like I said, this is more of a part sun, part shade environment here. But here, once we get to here, it is very much a shade area because they are covered by this crepe myrtle tree of my neighbors. So these guys get dappled shade all day long, pretty deep dappled shade too, and they love it. Like, that's what they love. And I think the begonias are doing really well too. They're loving life. I have more purple heart. Again, these are cuttings that are brand new that I've transplanted there. We recently also hooked up this back garden to drip irrigation, and so that's why you see these. I haven't had time to put mulch or anything over the top of that, but I still have last year's mulch pretty well there. But that's what you see. That's drip irrigation, so that's no longer overhead watering. And again, that one is blooming pretty beautiful, but you can see it is kind of still struggling with chlorosis. I could hit it again with chelated iron and see how it does, but I'm super happy with how they're doing this year on that one. Oh, that one is really beautiful. Okay, so then stopping right, well, no, actually this year it's longer. Okay. But you can see there's more light right here. So we're coming up to the end of the crepe myrtle shade, I guess you call it. And so this is more of a part shade environment back here. Again, it gets just a few hours of sun and it's midday sun. This one is a true midday. I think it's 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. right midday. But I have begonias again, and this is actually Queen of Hearts Brunnera. I just picked this up at Callaway when I picked up the lamium and when I picked up the clematis that I picked up. Oh, it finally shut off, thank goodness. Okay. Anyway, Queen of Hearts Brunnera, it's kind of taken a beating because it's gotten so much rain back here, and I think the dirt kind of comes up because of the hardcore rain, but it's doing good. Coming up over here, yay, my pink Turk's cap finally broke dormancy. Like just a couple weeks ago, y'all, is when it started going. The red Turk's caps are like almost blooming already in other yards here, and this pink Turk's cap just took forever to break dormancy, and it's, you know, the beginning of June now, so that's crazy. But I'm really looking forward to these blooms because they are stunning. I have another daylily back here. I need to deadhead these for sure, but they have some more blooms coming. Same kind, it's that peachy corally color. And over here is my oak leaf hydrangea. This is a dwarf Alice oak leaf, and it has struggled a little bit with some type of fungal infection. I have sprayed it with fungicide a couple of times, but this is promising. Like, this is new growth down here that doesn't have it. This new growth does not have it. So, but I did not get to see this bloom this year. And again, this is a plant that I picked up on clearance last fall. And I just wonder if maybe the grower pruned it, which it seemed like it, right before I bought it, which meant that the blooms would have been pruned off. Or I wonder if it's the first year, so it's not going to be established and it's not going to bloom for me because it's its first year. I don't know yet. We will find out in subsequent years what's going on with it, but it is beautiful and I do love it there. Right here is a kaleidoscope abelia that is not loving life here. I think it's just not enough sun for it, so I need to transplant this maybe come fall and find a new spot for it because it's just not loving life right here. And right there is Mexican petunia, the purple variety, the big purple Mexican petunia that again took a long time to break dormancy. It's just coming out of dormancy, just like the pink Turk's cap. So again, it's a brand new plant from last fall. It's kind of expected, I think. So I'm just excited to see it. It's fabulous. All right. So that is my side garden. I'm just so thrilled to be able to go on this side of the house and have a completely different environment for planting, new light, a different type of lights requirements and things like that. New types of plants become, possibilities. And so it's just been super, super, super fun. I thank you all for joining me. And I hope that you'll stay tuned for my container garden tour because I really, really want to do that. I just fear that it's going to add way too much length to this video. So one last look at everything. Again, thank you for watching. Please hit that subscribe button if you liked what you saw today. I hope you have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye-bye.